Welcome to This Explainer. Today we're unpacking an absolute engineering marvel. Because a helicopter, well, it doesn't just fly. It's a machine that's constantly combating the violent forces of physics every single second it's off the ground. It's this beautiful, intricate dance of aerodynamics, mechanics, and just pure human precision.
I mean, think about it. How exactly does a machine defeat gravity, tame incredibly chaotic air, and somehow manage to fly backward, forward, sideways, and straight up? Well, let's actually solve that puzzle together by walking through the exact chronological flight plan of a rotary wing aircraft.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, Cockpit Controls and Startup.
So, imagine you're sitting in the pilot's seat. It's kind of wild because your limbs are doing completely different things all at once. Your left hand, it's on the collective. You pull up to go up, push down to descend. Then your right hand rests slightly on the cyclic, which tilts the rotor disc to move you forward, backward, left, or right. And your feet, they aren't just chilling. They're working the anti-torque pedals, controlling the tail rotor just to keep the nose of the helicopter straight. You're quite literally strapped directly into the mechanics of the machine.
And here's the kicker. Everything is interconnected. When you raise that collective in your left hand, you are simultaneously increasing the pitch angle of all the main rotor blades. Sure, that creates more lift, but it also creates way more drag. And that drag, it causes your engine RPM to drop. Now, to maintain a constant RPM, which is absolutely essential in a helicopter, by the way, you've got to roll on the throttle to compensate. So, pull up, drag increases, RPM drops, roll on the throttle. It is just this continuous, high-stakes balancing act.
Because of all that complexity, pilots have to build a really solid, safe foundation before ever leaving the Earth. First, you verify the clutch is disengaged and your gauge needles are split. Then you fire up the engine, immediately checking for oil pressure. After that, you run the engine at 50 to 60% RPM. Why? Well, to avoid these crazy sympathetic vibrations that could actually cause structural instability. Once that clutch engages, you warm up the engine at 70 to 75% RPM and do a magnetic drop check, just to make sure there's no more than a 7% drop in power. Basically, this is how pilots tame the beast before taking on the air.
Moving right along to Section 2, Lifting into the Hover.
Now, actually lifting into a hover isn't as simple as just pulling up. As the pilot raises the collective, the helicopter sits on what we call a ground cushion. The air being sucked down through the rotor system collects right beneath the helicopter, and it creates this invisible, high-pressure pillow of air. And because of this cushion, it actually takes slightly less engine power to hover close to the ground than it does higher up in the sky. Pretty cool, right?
But balancing on that invisible pillow? Oh man, it is an absolute art form. Hovering requires these almost magical micro-adjustments. Remember, you're dealing with dirty, turbulent, recirculating air that your own rotors just whipped up. It takes the tiniest pressure changes from your right hand. In fact, flight instructors often say it's more like